screenplay. And then Michael B. Jordan, best actor. I mean, hey,
Caught me off guard.
when I watched the movie in the theater, I'm like, that's probably the best performance of his career, and I don't think it'll get rewarded, which is crazy to say that like Michael B. Jordan should be an Oscar nominee. Not that like he's a bad actor, but that's been always been the argument of like people think Michael B. Jordan's a bad actor, and I've always kind of been to his defense because I'm like, if you watch the type of performance he gives in the type of movie he's in, more often than not, it matches. Like you were saying, like Creed, he's great in Creed as like a young guy trying to prove himself to everyone who's doubting him because that's what he was doing in real life. Like they're like this Wallace from The Wire, Friday Night Lights, TV actor is going to try to become a movie star. Come on, like who you
Bro,
fooling?
he
Like
shouldn't got nominated for that hallway scene in general. All right, Lil Creed. Oh, that's not my name. That's not my name.
that's because that's is that the most LA authentic scene
Yeah,
of him being in LA of Adonis being in LA dude is the that ain't my name, man. That ain't my name. Nah.
that ain't my
Don't
name. That
don't
alone,
call
he
me
shouldn't have got nominated.
don't call me Baby Creed. That ain't my name.
That ain't my name. Then swung on him, trying to fight the whole crew by himself. Like you a boxer, but come on, bro. They gonna dance on you.
But I'm gonna put you on your pockets. That's what he did. But I
Hey,
mean, that
dude put
that's why
him on his pockets, and that's why he had that flashback.
that movie became the success it was and catapulted him. And to think months earlier, like the movie that was supposed to make him a bigger star in Fantastic Four, bomb and tanked and was like
I
gonna
keep forgetting
potentially
about that Fantastic
gonna
Four
be
movie.
his gonna be a stain on his career, like it was gonna be for Miles Teller and I was obviously for Josh Trank because he's trying to get another. Well, he is supposed to be making a horror movie now. Um,
Who?
but that Josh Trank, the director
Oh,
of Chronicle and Fantastic Four, is supposed to be
never like
making.
Chronicles.
Well, I love Chronicle and Michael B. Jordan's in Chronicle, and I'm like, isn't that from the Kicumbas from Hardball? That's him. Holy shit! Like he's all grown up now. Like,
Hey, another classic movie he was part of.
but that's what everyone's realizing. Like this guy was like a small role in a lot of things that at least 2 to 3 people watched over the course of their lives. Like he was on All My Children, like I said, Friday Night Lights, and he was on Parenthood for a couple
Yeah,
episodes. Like
I worked with him on there a couple of times.
he's the, he's kind of the old version of Hollywood, which is you started from the bottom, and you worked your way all the way to up. Like when you hear how Kurt Russell talked about his career, like it's the same thing. Like child actor, you work in kid roles, then TV, and then movies, and then bigger roles in movies, and then you're a movie star. Like that's the type of career Michael B. Jordan was having and is having. Because now with this best actor, like he is gonna be able to do anything after these next two projects, and his next two projects are Miami Vice and
And
his
what did we say? The irony. Jamie Foxx, that
yeah
was his next project
yeah
21 years ago because he won in '05. He did Ray, won for Best Actor. His next project was
Miami
Miami
Vice
Vice,
with Colin
which the
Farrell.
money went through the roof because every time you win for Best Actor or Best Actress, the price of the brick going up. Irony the wire.
While Damson Idris was in the same building as him.
Yeah, but one he can't shine Michael B. Jordan boots, bro.
No, I was about to say Damson Idris is a good actor, but he ain't gonna be a movie star like people think he is. That again, that
No.
Snowfall, that's that TV acting that Sean Penn was talking about.
And it ain't bad, but at the same time, it ain't film acting. When you got to carry a movie for 2 hours, that's tough.
But yeah, so
And his accent pisses me off too, so that's why I'm like,
okay,
fuck him.
okay, that's a whole nother bit. Is Miami Vice with Austin Butler, and like we were just talking about, like the way to match Jamie Foxx's same decision without really even intentionally doing it is hilarious because Jamie Foxx knew he was winning that Oscar for Ray. He knew damn well he was going to win
Yeah,
that
come
Oscar,
on.
but I don't think Michael B. Jordan knew he was going to win the Oscar for Sinners while he signed on
Nobody
to do.
knew. I
Well, no,
thought it
I'm saying
was
while he signed
Lachey's.
on to do my advice because we're making these observations, which is like I don't know if anyone else has, but that is crazy. And at the same time, much like Colin Farrell was trying to be forced down Hollywood's throat, Austin Butler is trying to be forced down Hollywood's throat.
There you go.
But the irony of that, and then the movie that he also has coming out in 2027, is his own movie that he's directing, which is the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair, and I think they just wrapped on that. So his whatever project he chooses to do after those two movies are released, he's gonna have
Do Creed
all
4.
all
Just
the
do
resources.
Creed.
Well, they're apparently trying to do the Creed TV show on Prime with
Get the money. Just
Woody
go get the money,
Harris.
young
Yeah,
fella.
but
Well, he a year. He a couple months older than me. Go get the money, young fella. Go ahead and do Creed. Hey, this how much I need, and I need y'all to do right by Sly Stallone, because he said the
we'll get to
writer, I
that.
think he said, got
We'll
to
get
do
to
right
that.
by him.
We'll get to that towards the end of the when we do the rest of the Hollywood news. But I think as you can kind of tell, he might be like, "Hey, this award's great. That's a hell of a career. I'm out of here." Like I,
Nah, he
I
just getting
think
started.
I think he's gonna do the John Elway, the leave on top, because you can tell with these projects he has. And then if you read, I'm sorry, the article that he did in GQ with Fraser Thorpe, who is Cal's man, um, that came out last year. He kind of talks about in that article, like, I don't know how much acting I'm doing or even how much directing I'm doing. I'm just right now, I've been working like crazy my whole life, and I want to take some time and spend time with my family. He talked about like uh, I think he said his sister had a kid or his brother had a kid. Like he wants to spend time with his nephews and want like to enjoy what he's been able to accomplish. Like drive his car, live in his house, like go on vacations with his friends. Like he wants to have his time after putting in all the work. And like you're saying, like once you get that best Oscar, the paychecks immediately increase. And now he's like, he might just say, hey, get one big one, get out, and then decide, if I want to make a movie this year, no. If I want to make a movie this year, yes. I think it'll be his move going forward. I can definitely see him being choosy in 2028 with what he does, because the story with Sinners was that they, Coogler and MBJ were having discussions, and Michael Jordan said, "I want to make this movie with you," and Ryan Coogler said, "That sounds cool. I don't want to make that movie. I got this movie I want to make with you, obviously." And Michael B. Jordan was mad about that, but then that decision got him an Oscar. Like by trust, he did a smart thing. He didn't turn his back on the guy that has helped elevate his career. He trusted his man and said, "Okay, we'll make your movie then." Like, and look how it played out in the long run, because he knew, and just goes to show like the relationship they have, which is actually at this point, it's more successful than the DiCaprio, Scorsese, the De Niro, Scorsese, the Spike Lee, Denzel in terms of Oscar, because they each won an Oscar for the same film. Denzel didn't win for a Spike film. Spike didn't win when Denzel was in his films.
Right.
DiCaprio didn't win for a Scorsese film. Scorsese didn't win for DiCaprio being in his films. Like it, this was like the pinnacle for these two guys, where they, started at the same time in a sense in terms of like the 2010s, and now they are coming into this decade with five, well, potentially five, because there's this one movie that they've talked about making, and it technically is five when you count Wakanda Forever. But they have Fruitvale Station, which I'm gonna have to finally see at this point. The only reason I've never seen it, as I
Yeah.
told before, was because that movie came out in 2013, right when I moved to California. So I wasn't trying to watch something that was gonna remind me of back home, especially with the story that I was familiar with, being the Oscar Grant killing.
Yeah.
I'm like, that would be it. I'm like, that's too tough to watch portrayed on film. But I heard the story of like, because he was on Bill Simmons' podcast at the time, Michael Jordan, saying like, yeah, the guy who directed this movie, like he's from Oakland, this is the story that he knew when he wanted to tell. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. And then he's like, and him and I were gonna do the Apollo Creed son movie. And I'm like, Apollo Creed son movie? Like that sounds crazy. Like what?
And
And
then he made a masterpiece out of it.
he made
It
it,
was-
and I doubted it in terms of like, I thought that year Southpaw was gonna be the better boxing movie, and I own that L for some reason. I'm like, Jake
no,
Gyllenhaal.
nobody saw that happening though, because it was a spinoff about not Sly and his son, because
Well,
obviously his son.
because the last two Rockies had been kind of meh. Yeah, Rocky
Yeah,
Five is horrible, and then I've never seen Rocky Balboa, but everyone's like Rocky Balboa is okay, but it's obviously like
it
crazy.
was alright.
Yeah, but that's why it's because Rocky had been put out to pasture, but it was Ryan Coogler, and that's the Oscar that they should have had back then, which was Sylvester Stallone should have won for best supporting actor in that movie, but they gave it to
Yeah,
Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. But that's a whole nother bag of bullshit. But yeah, is that, and then they go on to make Black Panther, and he gives truly one of the best performances in comic book movie history as Killmonger, and everyone shits on him like he's acting like an anime character. I always say this. He acts like how an anime villain acts, like he's acting for the comic book character's side, like, and
it
that's a
is.
great performance.
It's a comic book, anime, it's animation. He acted. That's how Creed 3 was. He basically did a side by side with some anime. He's an anime mark.
And then he has a small role in Wakanda Forever where he reemerges as Killmonger. But for years there, they were rumored to make this movie called Wrong Answer, in which Michael B. Jordan would play this teacher that would help his students cheat to pass a state standardized test or something like that.
Yeah.
It was based off a true story in Atlanta, I think. Um, but that was like long rumored after I think the first Black Panther, and then
Also, they're trying to do Mansa Musa, which is the richest man in history.
but who knows what they'll do next? I think they'll obviously continue to work together, but I also feel like Ryan Coogler is another guy who might want to like press pause on his career, especially after Black Panther 3. I think he'll want to take some time because I think
Yeah.
ending that trilogy will be hard for him given how everything played out unexpectedly. But he's also another guy who's going to want to spend time with his family, as he talked about last night, like how his wife and his kids mean everything to him. And he seems like a guy who wants to just tell his type of stories he wants to tell. I don't think he'll be in the one for them, one for me game after this. Again, his check will go up too as an Oscar
Yeah.
winner. Because again, going forward, it will say Oscar winner Ryan Coogler in all of his films, just like it will say it for Michael B. Jordan, Oscar winning, starring Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan as Ricardo Tubbs, Miami Vice. Like,
You think Austin Butler gonna be hating?
no, they actually seemed like they had cool chemistry when they were like doing those. Was it Vanity Fair? Yeah, I think it was a Vanity Fair or one of those magazine photo shoots. Uh, that's where I'm like, oh yeah, I think he's a better choice over Glenn Powell for the Crockett role. That's why I joked to you last night. He's gonna be like, fuck playing Tubbs. I'm gonna play Crockett. I'm gonna play the lead. I'm gonna play the cool guy, not the sidekick guy.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there. I mean, the one in '06 was cool. I actually like that one, so we'll see how this one turns
It's
out.
fine for what it is, but it was trying to update what the show was for modern times.
Yeah.
Um, but